you could be leaving some gains on the table, guys. If you ain't training like this, you're probably not even close to failure. Now this right here, guys, is a grueling set of 12. I'm telling you, that's 315 on his back. That is Arnold's friend, Eddie. And Arnold pushed him on this one. You can see by rep 8, he was ready to call it quits. But that's not what Arnold was gonna let him do. He just kept on pushing. You can hear from the grunts, man. Those are not grunts you can fake. If you fake grunts, you can definitely tell the difference. You can see the bar speed. You can see a couple of different things. And you don't want to play with 315 on your back, no matter how strong you are. That's not a weight to play around with. So you can definitely see as that bar speed starts to slow down that he is reaching pretty close to failure. Pretty damn close. And then he puts it up, racks it away. And then what happens next? After a hard grueling set, down onto the floor. I'm here to tell you why the last 4 to 5 reps are the most important. For training programs, meal plans, and coaching, make sure you check out khpfitnessandtraining.com. What's going on, my fitness seekers all over the world? KHP Fitness here with another video for you, and I wanted to go ahead and let you know what I meant when I said those last 4 or 5 reps and why they're the most important of all the reps that you do. Now, I made a short video about this, about a minute long, but as I talked about before, you can't really explain it in great detail, and I'm not just looking for the shock value. I want to educate you guys on all this hypertrophy I've learned over the years. And for those who don't know, hypertrophy means muscle building and why it's very important when it comes to those last 4 or 5 reps. But before I get into that video, you know what I want. I want you to go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to get informed for more videos like this in the near future. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So as we know, when it comes to hypertrophy in general, you want to be trying to get as close to failure as possible. And it's not necessarily a big deal to go to failure. Like, you don't have to absolutely go to failure, but we have to explain failure in that form as well. When it comes to failure versus when it comes to failure of anything else, when you're just done and that's over with, we're not talking about complete failure. Failure in the terminology of hypertrophy muscle building is being able to do a set of repetitions without having bad form. So if your form is really good, that's when you want to be pretty close, about 1 to 2 reps in general from complete failure. If you are doing a bicep curl and at the end of it you're doing this and you're starting to jerk your back up and do all of this crazy nonsense that's going to whip your back and probably pop a bicep if you ain't careful, that's absolute failure. And a lot of times you don't need to be that advanced. That's more for advanced lifters that know how to control that kind of swinging, knows the body, knows the tension, and so they don't snap themselves up. But normal people will end up in Snap City if they're not careful doing stuff like that.
That shit is one-way ticket to Snap City, man.
For people, even when it comes to bands or weights, you want to do your damnedest to stay within 1 to 2 reps before complete failure. If you're doing a bicep curl and it's nice and strict like so, and you do a little cheat to get a little bit more, that's pretty damn close to failure, but not absolute failure. So 1 to 2 reps in the tank, not a bad idea.
What a true failure set looks like using a basic curling exercise to demonstrate. And this is a set consisting of 6 total reps. So the first rep is easy. This here is 4 reps in reserve. This is 3 reps in reserve. Not sure what that face was that I just made there. I think it's because the weight felt heavier than I expected. 2 reps in reserve, getting more difficult. I was actually aiming for 7 reps on the set, but I ultimately fell short. This is 1 RIR. Most people don't go beyond this, and they probably would have stopped on the previous rep. And yes, these really are the faces that I make when I train all out. And then this here is the final 0 RIR grinder rep. Unless I really started cheating and using a bunch of momentum, there is 0 chance I could get another rep beyond this. That's me curling as hard as I possibly can with every fiber I can muster.
If you're doing any repetition, whether that's up to 30 reps, as low as 6 reps when it comes to hypertrophy, typically within that 8 to 15, you want to be making sure that you are doing it with a weight that challenges you enough, or resistance that challenges you enough, that you are feeling it. You should be feeling that burn. If you're doing 15 reps, you should be feeling that burn tough by anywhere between rep 10 and 12 up to rep 5. So that's why I always talk about the last 4 or 5 reps are the most important, because those are the ones that's going to be really tearing the muscle fibers to have you rebuild them later with sleep and proteins and just overall recovery in that particular manner. So it definitely matters when it comes to that last 4 or 5 reps, because as you can see in this video over here, as I'm pulling, doing a shoulder raise here, I'm really maxing out at the top. As I'm coming to the top, it's no longer coming up quick anymore. I'm doing this number here, which means I'm damn near at failure. I can complete it, but when you're doing that, that's how you know you're within that rep range that I'm talking about. Failure is a good thing when it comes to hypertrophy, because that's how you know you're progressing. When you're doing weight training, when you're doing resistance training, it is a situation where you have to be damn near pretty close to failure to improve. And that doesn't mean go out and hurt yourself. That doesn't mean set a new PR every week. That means you need to start looking at techniques like pause reps. You need to start looking at techniques like partials to maybe fatigue it before or after. You can do static, where you're literally holding the curl position or any position in the midway point of the concentric, because as you're doing that, you're going to get a lot of tension there, really whipping the muscle, and then you can try to perform about 10 to 12 reps after that. Burns like a mother effer, I'm gonna tell you that right now, guys. And a lot of people are severely lacking in intensity. They concentrate so much on the rep range, but they forget about the importance of the intensity no matter which move you're doing.
Exert yourself with 100% maximum effort, with every ounce of strength that you can generate. You don't pretend to give 100%, okay? You don't give 90% and then mentally convince yourself into thinking that it's 100% so that you can stop. Failure means that the physical and mental discomfort is completely irrelevant and you continue to push forward with full force.
It can be something as easy as kickbacks, which not that easy, but you get what I'm saying. But doing a movement very simple like such, an isolation movement, you have to really be trying to put effort on. Not enough to tear your tendons up, because you need those, but enough to really beat into the muscles, getting those type 2s. So that's where all of the growth comes, man. All of the growth comes when you're really challenging the muscle. Even when I'm challenging my clients, I will look what they're able to do, and I do the talk test. The talk test is a really good thing to do when it comes to clients. I'm listening for them. I'm seeing what they can push through, and if we're doing a certain amount and they can no longer talk through the rep, or they really need to put a lot of effort into it, I know that's a good place for them to be, and I keep them there and then start to challenge them from that particular resistance in the coming weeks. It's something that I do for myself too. Like, I'm really concentrating on that breathing technique. I'm really concentrating on the 1 second concentric, 2 second eccentric, because these movements, they really freaking matter. Really matter. And that is the importance of why you need to be pushing to the 4 or 5 repetitions, because those are the ones that matter the most, because everything before that is prepping you for the growth, because it goes up and then there's diminishing returns that come too. But if you can get pretty close to that peak, you're in a good place, and that's where you want to keep it. And you can usually use that for any kind of hypertrophy training in the future, any kind of training in general. Pushing is definitely going to help you get better than where you were. As Coach Greg always says,
Train hard. If you're natural, train hard. How hard? Harder than last time. That's how hard you should
train harder than last time. That's exactly right. And that doesn't mean go balls to the wall. That just means you can maybe throw another set in, maybe throw another rep in, maybe throw a few more repetitions, maybe slow down the pace. There's so many different ways to get to it. And let me know, guys, how that feels for you. Let me know what you want to see next in these videos. I'll tell you before, man, just put it in the comments. And I'm really paying attention now, guys. I'm really paying attention. Really want to get some more growth on here. Still on that quest to reach that 1,000 subscribers. I'm not hiding my count like everybody else. I'm going to show out organically where I can be. No paid this, no paid that. Just going to keep putting out good content, and hope you guys resonate with it. As I said before, hit that like, comment, subscribe for future videos. Share this with your friends, and let's keep this momentum going, because I always say it's not where you train, it's how you train. You guys take care.